What's going on, party people? Mitchell Renz here from Chat Sports, and on today's show, we're going to try to figure out which team is the most likely to go out and sign, sounds kind of weird, free agent wide receiver Odell Beckham Jr. Now, for those of you that maybe don't have a, computer, Dad, I'm looking at you, maybe you don't know that OBJ was released by the Cleveland Browns and that he's actually free to go ahead and sign with any team that he pleases, since nobody wanted to go ahead and try to take on his $7.25 million that would have been needed to go out and sign the free agent receiver if he would have been claimed on waivers. Now, there's been reports out there that there's some teams that are starting to maybe get a little bit of a head start on other ones in terms of who could go out and get this guy. There's also some reports out there that he could sign as soon as today. If I'm being 100% honest, I kind of like the OBJ drama, and I wanted to carry on just a little bit longer. But the reason why this guy has over 14 million followers on IG is because he is a big-time star, but does he deserve to still be considered this elite receiver where I know a lot of people will be like, he could be a top 10 guy? I'm going to respectfully disagree, because when you look at his sample size over the last 3 seasons here with Cleveland, he's had a lot of injuries. I literally think since that ACL injury that he sustained, he has not quite been the same guy. But what people love to remember is the ridiculous one-handed catch that OBJ made just so many years ago that took away my very first fantasy football title in my family league. Not that I'm still bitter about it, but this is what people remember, right? His first 3 years in the league where he had over 90 catches, over 1,300 yards, over 10 touchdowns. I've gone on record and say before that I really think that OBJ, that first year that he came out in the NFL, was the most dynamic rookie receiver that I have ever seen. So, this is what we're going to do here. We're going to do this. Where will OBJ sign? And I'm going to make this the pinned comment on today's show. So for every single one of you mother effers that come across this bad boy, I want you to go ahead, scroll on down while you're getting hit with that YouTube ad break, and let me know, where will OBJ sign? Coming in at number 10, let's get flashy right off the start. I'm going to throw in the Dallas Cowboys out here. Why? OBJ is all about the brand, and there is no team in the NFL that could build his brand bigger than the Dallas Cowboys. He wants to play with an elite quarterback? You have Dak Prescott. Michael Gallup, I love him, but he's been battling a few injuries. If you're telling me right now a team could give him an opportunity to go to the playoffs, I think the Cowboys are the top team. Why? That division stinks. You have Amari Cooper, Odell Beckham Jr., CeeDee Lamb, Dak Prescott, Ezekiel Elliott, and I'll throw in Tony Pollard as well. That's one hell of an offense, so that's why I threw in the Cowboys. Coming in at number 9, this one might be a little bit of an unpopular opinion, but the Atlanta Falcons. The Falcons are in need of a number 1 wide receiver since Calvin Ridley decided to basically take time away from football. The Falcons have won 3 out of their last 4 games, and he could be the wide receiver 1 with Matt Ryan, and we've seen in the past what Matty Ice can do with, OBJ, though I don't know if Matty Ice is Matty Ice anymore. Maybe Matty thawed out a little bit, but this is also the thing. If the playoffs were to start today, the Falcons would be in. So if he wants to play with a playoff contender, this is definitely a team that he should be interested in. Now, if OBJ does end up signing with the team, and if you want to try to count how many times I say OBJ on today's video, I already think my counter's up to 14. But hit that big red button that says sub. Turn on those notifications. That way you don't miss anything. Don't be that douche 3 days from now like, did OBJ sign yet? And somebody's like, yeah, dude, he's already on a team. Don't be that guy. If you don't know how to hit the notification bell, I got you covered. I want you to whip out your phone right now. That's the only thing I want you to whip out. And hit that bell. You can kind of see it on this picture here. I circled it with a red circle. Click that, and then click all. If you want to make fun of this picture of Tom, because he's kind of got this face like, oh my God, I can't believe you put the Cowboys on this list. That's what I want you to do. Subscribe, turn on those notifications. All right, let's go to the 8th team on my list, the San Francisco 49ers. And you're always going to hear, what Kyle Shanahan's going to be able to do when he has a X-receiver, and you always go back to hearing some of these crazy stats. Well, Deebo Samuel's going to be the number 1, but for whatever reason, Beckham has always kind of been linked here to the 49ers. Brandon Ayuk finally did have a good game, but I still don't have 100% confidence in him. And the 49ers, if they want to make the playoffs, they better get aggressive. And I'm talking about really, really quick because they're 3-5. They've lost, like 4 out of their last 5 games. And then you're also talking about an offense that's in a division that's hella tough with the Arizona Cardinals, the Rams, and spoiler alert, you're going to see the Seahawks also on this list. Now, if anybody out there wants to go ahead and bet on some NFL games this week, there's one place to do it and one place only. If you already can predict the future, I got 2 questions for you. 1, what are this week's lottery numbers? And 2, you should probably actually go to BetUS and bet on what team you think could potentially win the Super Bowl, because whatever team OBJ ends up going to, whether it's in the NFC, whether it's in the AFC, their Super Bowl odds are about to go up. So if you think you can predict it, I want you to go to chatsports.com/bet. Use promo code NFL Daily. It's going to get you 125% deposit bonus. Mitch, what the hell does that mean? I'm glad you asked. If you put down $100, you're going to get $125 for free and a little cherry on top. You're also going to get a free NFL jersey. But Mitch, how do I get a jersey? Again, all you got to do is put down $100, use the promo code, use the link that I sent you, and then I want you to send me an email with your account number. If you want to show me the first bet you made, because I've been struggling a little bit and I need to make some money, email me, jersey@chatsports.com. Is Patrick Mahomes going to get a new receiver? Is Matthew Stafford going to get a new number 1 guy? We have all these jerseys available. So, again, get started with our sportsbook partner. It's for first-time users only, and then email me your account number, jersey@chatsports.com. It is the best deal on the internet. Let's go to number 7 here, the New England Patriots. Is ankle twister Mac Jones going to get a brand new wide receiver 1? It still remains to be seen. But New England has won 4 out of the last 5 games. And I've been hearing this a lot, right? And a lot of comparisons between Randy Moss and Odell Beckham Jr. Well, the Patriots were great when everyone thought Randy Moss at 28 years old was washed up. There's one minor difference. I know some people, won't mention any names, have called Mac Jones Tom Brady Jr. or whatever the hell he says, but that ain't the case. So if New England does want a number 1 receiver, potentially you can go out and get some OBJ. Sorry, Jack. Love you. Let's go to number 6 on my list here, the Los Angeles Rams. And if you want to talk about a team that's been balls to the wall, it's been the Rams here. Whether they're giving up draft picks for Matthew Stafford, whether they're going out and trading other picks for Von Miller, this team is in win-now mode. And kind of like what I said before about the Dallas Cowboys, you want to go to a big market? Well, L.A., last time I checked, is a pretty darn big market. And even though he probably is going to be the wide receiver 3 with Cooper Kupp and Robert Woods, even though Van Jefferson here and there, he's better than Van Jefferson at this point, I have a lot of confidence in Sean McVay, and I have a lot of confidence in their offensive mindedness, if that's a word, to be able to put the ball in OBJ's hands. So here's my next question. Anytime you talk about a player that I do think is a little bit overrated, which he is, like, let's face it, people go ahead and they rate him crazy. I want you guys to act like this is Madden right now from a scale from 0 to 100. How good is Odell Beckham Jr.? Because I'm somewhere around a 75 or an 80, but I know we're going to see some 90s down in the comments. Let's get into my top 5 Odell Beckham Jr. destinations. Coming in at number 5, the Las Vegas Raiders. They lost Henry Ruggs last week and probably are still looking for that top receiver. Now, Las Vegas did already go out this past week and sign receiver Deshaun Jackson, but if I'm being 100% honest, with a healthy Odell, you could be looking at a true wide receiver 1 in this offense. Now, one of the issues is going to be Derek Carr. They like to spread it out with Hunter Renfrow. You're also going to have Darren Waller, who is probably technically your still number 1 option. But another big market team, OBJ should at least be interested. Coming in here at number 4, I'm going to go with the Seattle Seahawks. And if Seattle was a little bit higher up in terms of the NFL standings, I think Seattle could actually be higher on this list, but they're coming in at number 3 and 5. At 3 and 5. And OBJ, apparently wants to play with a playoff team, and I don't know if they're going to be able to make the playoffs, but there's been reports out there that he wants to join this squad. Seattle has been looking for a number 3 receiver for a very long time. Plus, if you're interested in all the drama that Antonio Brown brings, which that's exactly what Seattle used to be in, then you should be able to handle what OBJ is going to bring to the table as well. Also, earlier in the week, Pete Carroll was asked, are you going to put in a claim for Odell? He obviously didn't put in a claim, but he kind of left us with a, you'll see. Top 3 teams now for Odell Beckham Jr., and this is where I believe it is a clear tier break. Coming in at number 3, I have the Kansas City Chiefs because according to a report, the next 3 teams that you're about to see here are teams that Odell is apparently putting up on a higher pedestal. But the reason why Kansas City's coming here, sitting at 5-4, the offense has been a little bit up and down, and could OBJ help them get back on track? For whatever reason, Tyreek Hill, he's unable to catch anything right now. Travis Kelce looks like he's a little bit slow. But if you want to tell me, do I really think a team that could win the AFC West right now if they got OBJ could be the Chiefs? Yeah, man, absolutely. Would it surprise me if he went there and the offense totally started to click? No, it really wouldn't. And if you want to have a good chance of making the playoffs and making it to the Super Bowl, even though it pains me to say it sometimes, I think Kansas City's a pretty good option. Now, I'm genuinely curious about this, so what I want everyone to do is, when that comes across this video, what is your Twitter name? And I want you to put it down in the comments. And I want to do like a whole follow back or follow for follow type of thing. So if you're down in the comments and you see somebody put their Twitter name here, go ahead, give them a follow. If their DMs are open, and say, hey, man, I saw you on Chat Sports' OBJ Destinations video. Would you give me a follow back? Let's try to grow this channel. Let's try to grow each other's Twitter following. If anybody wants to give Chat Sports a follow on Twitter, ours is at Chat Sports. All right, number 2 here on my list, the New Orleans Saints. Now, this move to me seems like it makes a little bit too much sense, but on the other hand, it's like it's a little bit of a homecoming, if you will. So the Saints are going to have Michael Thomas back this season due to his ankle injury, and I know a lot of New Orleans fans are kind of like, well, what the hell is going on? This would be a little bit of a homecoming for Odell, who grew up in New Orleans and played college football at LSU. There's no doubt about it that the Saints need a wide receiver 1 right now. The only issue, they don't really have a true top quarterback. No disrespect to Taysom Hill, no disrespect to Ian Book, Trevor Siemian. They're just not in the same ballpark as a lot of other these teams. But I do have a lot of confidence in Sean Payton. I have a lot of confidence in that offense to be able to put the ball in Odell's hands. But coming in here at number 1 for OBJ Destinations is the Green Bay Packers. And right when the first reports came out that, all right, Beckham didn't get claimed, the top team apparently it sounded like was Green Bay, and this does make a lot of sense. The Packers, they're thin beyond Davante Adams at the receiver position. We've been talking about, it seems like for about 18 months now, are the Packers going to add another wide receiver for Aaron Rodgers? The fact that Green Bay was able to take down the Arizona Cardinals without Rodgers does speak a lot of confidence, or not without Rodgers, without Davante Adams, speaks a lot of confidence in that offense. Sure, last week they lost without Jordan Love, but Davante Adams, OBJ, Aaron Rodgers, dude, that's going to be really, really tough to stop, which is why they're number 1 here on my list. But anytime you talk about the NFL, I do think sometimes bringing up a player like Beckham is also going to come with the potential of, do you want to add somebody that's been a drama queen, that's been a locker room cancer, whether it's been with his end of his career with the Giants or now with the Cleveland Browns? So I want you to do 2 things here. First, I want you to tell me who your favorite NFL team is, and then I want you to tell me, would you want them to go out and sign Odell Beckham Jr.? I want you to type OBJ for yes, or, as I love to say this, no BJ for no. So one more time here, y'all, my top 10 destinations for Odell Beckham Jr. 10 through 6. I don't really know if these are all too likely, but we'll end up seeing. And then 5 through 1, the top 3 teams here, it sounds like, are the most likely are the Chiefs, the Saints, or the Packers. If I missed out on your favorite team, if you think I left somebody off the list, that's what Chat Sports is all about. Let me know down in the comments. And if I did something right here, which I guess you're still watching, go ahead, hit that subscribe button, and remember to turn on those notifications.